Welcome to this explainer. Imagine, if you will, the tension of a pitch-black room. A phone rings. On the other end, some very, very dangerous people. The stakes are absolutely astronomical. Life and death literally hang in the balance, and our hero needs to make an undeniable, ironclad guarantee about what happens next. So, how does he do it? Well, with grammar. Specifically, he uses one of the absolute most powerful sentence structures in the English language. If you let my daughter go now, that will be the end of it. I will not look for you, I will not pursue you. But if you don't, I will look for you, I will find you, and I will kill you. We all know it, right? That completely spine-chilling quote from Liam Neeson's character, Brian Mills, in the 2008 movie Taken. It is a legendary piece of cinematic history, but honestly, what we just listened to is an absolute masterclass in English grammar. Brian Mills is perfectly wielding what we call the first conditional. Section 1. The power of first conditionals. Okay, let's dive into this and take a step back from the Hollywood action for a second. We're going to look at the underlying grammatical mechanics that give a threat exactly like that its absolute power. Conditional Sentence Type 1, or as it's frequently called, the first conditional, is used to express real, possible, or highly likely situations in the present or future and their probable results. Now, unlike scientific facts or universal constants, we're using this specific rule to talk about very specific, realistic future events. It's not about wild hypotheticals or dream scenarios. It is about situations that have a genuine, solid chance of happening if a certain condition is met. Section 2. Cracking the core formula. Let's look at the underlying code, essentially the mathematical equation that powers how you and I communicate every single day. Here is the algebra of everyday communication. You've got your condition clause, the if clause, and your result clause, which is the main clause. The formula goes like this: if or when plus the simple present tense, then a comma, then the subject, plus will or a modal verb, plus verb 1, meaning the base verb. Let's map this algebraic equation directly back to Liam Neeson's condition. If you let my daughter go now, boom, there's your simple present. That will be the end of it. There's your subject, your will, and your base verb be. He sets up a very real choice in the present that dictates a definite set of future actions. It is just a flawless equation. Now, what's really interesting here is how flexible this equation actually is. You have three main structural options. First up is the standard variation using will, which guarantees a result. If it rains tomorrow, we will stay indoors. But look at the modal variation. By swapping out will for can, may, or might, you completely change the tone. It goes from a guarantee to a possibility or even a permission. If you finish early, you can join us. And finally, you have the imperative result. This drops the subject entirely to give a direct command. If you see Sarah, call me immediately. As you build these sentences, there's a visual and structural rule you absolutely need to hardwire into your brain: the punctuation. Look at the visual difference when we flip the clause order. When the if clause starts the sentence, it acts as an introductory phrase, right? So you must use a comma before delivering the result. If I see him, I will tell him. But if you flip the script and put the result clause first, that comma vanishes completely. I will tell him if I see him. It's a tiny visual shift, but flipping the order completely streamlines the punctuation. So the crucial point is this next rule. Seriously, if there is one single thing you take away from this explainer today, let it be this: never ever put will inside the if clause. It is the most common mistake English learners make with this structure. You literally cannot say, if it will rain, I will bring an umbrella. I know it feels kind of logical because the rain is in the future, right? But the grammar math simply doesn't work. The correct phrasing is, if it rains, I will bring an umbrella. The condition has to remain in the simple present. Section 3. Everyday promises and warnings. Let's bring the stakes back down to earth for a minute to see how we use this exact cinematic toolkit to navigate our daily lives. Whether you realize it or not, you use this very same framework to negotiate your own plans and warnings. Think about promises and offers you make. If you pass your exams, we will go on vacation. Or warnings and threats, maybe directed at a misbehaving toddler. If you touch that hot stove, you will burn yourself. And of course, your future plans and predictions. If the weather is clear on Saturday, we will go hiking. In every single one of these examples, you are setting up a present condition that directly controls a future outcome. Section 4. Hollywood's favorite grammar rule. Because this structure creates such amazing tension, bargains, and consequences, it is no surprise that it's Hollywood's absolute favorite grammar rule. So let's do a rapid-fire look at how other iconic movie characters rely on this exact same formula.
Facing down Darth Vader with his lightsaber, Obi-Wan Kenobi says, "If you strike me down, I shall become more powerful than you can possibly imagine." And this brilliantly illustrates the modal variation we talked about earlier. Obi-Wan uses the simple present "strike me down" for the condition, but for the result, he uses the modal "shall" instead of "will." He's warning Vader about a direct, highly probable future outcome, and he locks it in with that classic formal modal verb.
Or how about hopping into a DeLorean? Doc Brown tells Marty McFly, if you put your mind to it, you can accomplish anything. Check out the variation here. If you put your mind to it as our present condition, but the result relies on the modal can, you can accomplish anything. This variation perfectly expresses a realistic ability that is totally contingent on effort. Honestly, it just proves how incredibly versatile this rule is. It works for death threats, sci-fi warnings, and even heartwarming motivation. Section 5. Type 0 versus Type 1. Let's move to and see how this builds. A lot of people get the first conditional mixed up with the zero conditional, or Type 0. So let's set up the ultimate showdown between these two different conditional types.
Let's contrast these two because the difference is actually fascinating. Type 0 focuses on static, universal facts and scientific rules. Because of that, both the if clause and the result clause stay in the simple present tense, which gives you a 100% guaranteed outcome. It's totally static. Type 1, as we've seen, focuses on specific future possibilities. The if clause is simple present, sure, but the result clause shifts to will, can, or might, plus a base verb. It's dynamic, it's future-facing, and it's highly likely, but it's not a universal constant.
To really drive this home, let's compare how we talk about something as simple as water freezing. If you say, if you freeze water, it turns to ice, you're using Type 0. That's a general scientific rule. It happens every single time. But if you say, if you put water in the freezer, it will freeze soon, well, now you've shifted to Type 1. You are talking about a specific action happening right now with a highly probable future result. Mastering this subtle shift in verb tense completely alters the reality and certainty of what you are communicating.
So it all comes down to condition and result, right? The present action and the future consequence. Which brings me to a final real-life equation for you to process in your own mind as we wrap up this explainer. If you master the first conditional today, what will you achieve tomorrow? Keep practicing, and I'll catch you next time.